day is this?
It's Mail It In Friday.
Yeah, well, the dude abides.
This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
I was not expecting this, but I'll take it. The Jays are back home, back in action tonight. We're playing the Major League theme song. I know the Leafs have not won 5 in a row, and I know the Raptors have not won 5 in a row, but maybe the Blue Jays are on the verge of doing that.
I love the song. I love the movie, and I just hope the Jays have a great season. I love opening day.
Yeah, it really feels like opening day. Minus 12 outside right now.
Dude, it's not getting better either.
No, I know.
We got a couple
really
more
cold.
days of pain before it gets better.
Yeah, like the sun is out, and this is the benefit of the Dome, right? Frankie Corrado's in here with us, and can you imagine if they had an outdoor park playing tonight? It's going to be, I guess with soccer, you kind of, you see those type of scenes more. Like you see it in baseball once they get to October, and, you know, if you're in the World Series, you're like, I'll play through anything. Game 1 of 162 in minus weather.
It's not great.
Bit of a grind. But the Dome will be closed tonight, so it's all good.
And especially after you've been in Dunedin so long. But it's not just the Jays, right? Like the Tigers, they got to do it at some point.
Everybody.
It's a hot pocket down there. So you get maybe minus 8 instead of minus 12.
I did see that, actually. Last week, someone sent me a snapshot of Windsor.
It was 21 degrees in Windsor.
21 degrees. People
minus 8 in Sudbury. 21 in Windsor.
It's a big swing in the OHL right there.
Hot pocket in the Midwest. A hot
Windsor
pocket.
is the Tampa Bay Lightning of the O.
Yeah, it is. Why isn't it like it should be like Florida? They should be in flip-flops and, you know, golf carts. Like, what's going on with the Spitfires? I don't know. Are they a good team right now? I have no idea.
Yeah, they're a good team.
Are they a good team?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're good.
They get cyclical in the OHL.
Yeah.
Every couple of years, you can bank on the team being pretty good.
Right.
Yeah, but there's usual suspects in the O. You know this. That pop up all London Knights, Kitchener Rangers.
Right.
It's
Consistently good.
Yeah. There's teams where it's like, when was the last time that team was good?
Yeah. Generally, any team in the GTA stinks, right? At least that was my era. Like when I was coming in, St. Mike's was still in the league. They never won anything.
At the gritty old barn there?
At St. Mike's Arena. Yeah. And obviously Mississauga and Brampton were around. Like the Mississauga.
Doesn't that St.
Brampton
Mike's Arenas fit like 300 people?
Yeah, it didn't fit. It fit very few people. Like, I played multiple OHL games in that rink.
How do you compete if you're putting 400 people in the barn?
It didn't really. It didn't last long.
That's why they're not there
Like, our
anymore,
boy
I
Jeff
guess.
Doyle was there. He was one of their first picks ever. He went 3rd overall, Jeff.
And they used to have...
And Doyle was the St. Mike's guy, so his transition was, like, hysterical.
Didn't they have some meathead teams back in the day in that small little barn, and they just tried to beat the wheels off?
Well,
everyone?
that was where Keefe and Jefferson, they all started at St. Mike's.
Right.
And then I think it was made clear more so from the school, these guys have got to get out of here. Like, it's not going to work anymore. Yeah. Like, the whole hockey thing is working, but the whole school thing.
Student athletes, first and foremost.
Yeah, because at St. Mike's, they had to show up and wear the suits and everything, and you'd see guys walking around in track pants, and teachers would be going nuts. They'd be like, this isn't going to work.
Track pants. Is that just like F you? Like, I'm not wearing this stuff?
Basically, you drafted me. I'm here to play. I guess I'll show up.
Dude, let's call a spade a spade. When you're that age and you're playing in the OHL, you make a mockery out of all kinds of things like that. Like, we showed up to the high school wearing our tracksuits. Why? Yeah. All the locals knew who we were already,
totally
and
disagree.
They hated us already.
Guelph Storm, Jim Rooney, Mr. Rooney. He was the principal of the high school, and we all had to wear uniforms. You all had to go to school. It didn't matter who you were. Like, you were going.
Well, that's good to hear.
And it's like you weren't just showing up and putting your feet up and not, like, you had to go to school, man. Well, I'm not going to say I gave 100%.
See, that's the whole thing. You're supposed to go to school.
Yeah.
I do think every team had a different relationship with the education system in the respective town. Right, because I had the same experience when I first got to Barrie. It was like, you're going, and you got to be there. And I was like, no problem. And then elsewhere, you'd hear, like, oh, that guy hasn't been in school in, like, 3 weeks, playing in other parts of the league.
I've heard stories of, like, highly rated picks that never stepped foot.
Going.
No, never stepped foot.
Never. And it was always amazing when you got there young the overagers, you're like, what are you doing all day? What is a 20-year-old guy in Guelph doing that's graduated high school?
My best friend in Guelph was Christian Scarina. He was an overage. He just watched movies and hung out. I'd go over and have pregame meal with him.
What a life. Because you'd see the overager at practice.
Yeah.
You'd be at school all day, and that guy's just sitting around.
Every once in a while, you'd see him at lunch. You rip over somewhere for lunch, like Quiznos or
What are
something.
you doing
like,
here?
Guy had like
Where's
a
the
rusted out K car.
Always a car.
They always had
Mandatory.
wheels, man. A K car or something.
Yeah.
Something gross.
I always was wondering. I'd ask them, I'd be like, what did you do today? They're like, slept in, went to the gym,
video games.
and then came here and practiced.
Yeah.
That's about it. Like the overage lifestyle was a great life.
A great life.
It was a great, great life. Anyway, it's good to see you, Frankie. It's opening night for the Blue Jays. We got Keegan coming up, Keegan Matheson, in just over an hour and a half from now. And Alistair Johnston's coming up, too, of the national team. And, of course, he's a Celtic player over in Glasgow. So we're going to get into what life is like in Scotland. And he's been nursing an injury, actually, serious one. He had surgery on the hamstring, but hopefully back on the pitch in about a month. And we're looking forward to catching up with him because they got a couple of friendlies coming up, and then it's go time, right? Italy won yesterday, so it feels like it's going to be Canada-Italy opening night of the World Cup.
Who was the match you were talking about yesterday? It wasn't Scotland. It was somebody had were the favorites. They were in their home barn.
Well, Wales.
Lost. They lost.
They lost. Yes, they lost. That's who Italy was going to play, and they lost. So Wales is out. And now Italy is in a very good position to either choke, like seriously choke, or get through and probably step into the group stage as a favorite to come out.
I need to
of the
see
group
the reaction.
stage.
I need Italy to play in, I need it.
It's going to be so good if they do. And I was wondering, do you think this city is ready for a soccer match of that kind of magnitude? And I'm not talking about, the traffic and the logistics. I'm talking about, the crazy, fanatical, real Italians that will come over here. Soccer is different over there, man. We can get into it with Alistair, but, there's going to be some hardcore people here. It's, you know what I'm saying? It gets real gritty.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah, it's very different than going down to a Leafs-Bruins game.
Right. It's a lifestyle. It is territorial. It means a lot. And is the city ready? We'll find out. I mean, it seems like daily there's a new, press conference about gridlock in the city and how they're going to figure all that out and what's going to happen with the gardener. And I don't know. It's going to be here. Let's be honest. If you're anywhere in North America, every city's got its own problem.
I'm talking about fights and stuff.
Oh, I understand. Yeah. And it's not even Canada, Italy necessarily. There's the other countries that are rolling through, and you're going to see some characters that we have not seen before.
What is this? When is the official start date?
June 12th.
I gotta get it. I can't.
You're gonna get out of town.
I
You're
have
gonna be
to.
one of those guys.
I might actually look to rent my house. Some
To
guy.
who though?
Probably
That's what
make it
Frankie's saying though. You're gonna rent your house to some hooligan from Switzerland.
Dude, if he gives me 50 grand, I don't care what he does.
You're not getting 50 grand. I mean,
Dude,
Maybe
what are
a
you talking
dignitary.
about?
You can get 50 grand from a dignitary.
50 grand?
Do you know how much houses people that go around Augusta National rent their house?
Yeah, that's for Augusta though.
This is the World Cup, bro.
I understand that, but this again, Augusta doesn't have the infrastructure Toronto has. Toronto has thousands of hotels and motel rooms and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, really?
Augusta, you've been to Augusta. It's got nothing.
Do they have 4 bathrooms and a basement and a big screen TV?
What do you think you could realistically get for your house? 50 grand's obviously stupid. You're not getting 50 grand.
For the whole tournament?
Well, who's renting a house for the whole tournament?
I guess it's just the group
That's
stage.
not going to happen. You have the group stage and
Which is what? Group stage, it's a week and a half?
and a
group
couple
stage?
of playoff games.
I'll put a,
Oh, it's
I'll put a
few
little
weeks.
thing out on Kijiji Worldwide.
I think you're too late, man. I think A, you're too late, but B, anyone that's still looking for a place has been red flagged by every other apparatus.
JP, is there such thing as Kijiji Worldwide where you can just blast something out and
Yeah,
You gotta
JP
get
would know.
a Sotheby's, those really high-end real estate firms.
and
get it
is
out
it a
there.
month? It's got to be a month long.
Yeah, it is. Now they're not.
It might
in
be
Toronto
more.
the
I
whole
might get
time.
more.
They're not in Toronto the whole time, right? And again, countries are coming and going, so I don't see who's going to want a house for 2 or 3 weeks in Toronto.
You know what's crazy? I think if you just did that generally, if you said Jeff O'Neill willing to rent my house out for 2 weeks, 50 grand. Come live in the O-Dog's house for 2 weeks.
Dude.
Oh, you want the general public doing that?
In Toronto, like you could just get some fan of the show.
That's
He'd
a great
pay 50
idea.
grand to live in your
Put your house up for a fan of the show. I like that
Guaranteed you
plan.
could get it.
Go run that by your wife and see how she responds.
Dude, she'll throw me out of the house if I even entertain that idea.
Exactly. I put the house up for show purposes.
What would the price have to be to displace you for 2 weeks just for a fan to live in your house?
I mean, 50 grand would move the needle pretty quickly.
50 grand gets
50
me.
grand
You
cash.
could, you could punch holes in the drywall. I'll fix it.
Yeah, that 50 grand's a lot of money. It's not going to happen, but I'd listen. I'd start listening.
Doogie's got
For sure.
something to-
What do I list it on, Doogie?
Airbnb is paying visitors $2,700 a day
What do you mean paying visitors? What does that mean?
to rent their house, essentially.
Paying visitors to rent the house? I don't understand what you mean
So
by that.
they probably need property so badly, so they're willing to pay you $2,700 to list your house. Is that?
And then you're
Is that
getting
what
the
it
money
is?
on top? That doesn't make any sense.
I think you got that wrong, Doogie.
Yeah. Anyway, dig a little bit deeper. We'll see if we can get O out of his house. Anyway, so Alistair's coming up in about 20 minutes. There's some breaking news out of Florida, South Florida. Tiger Woods was involved in a rollover car crash. Now, according to local affiliates, the news is still coming in terms of exactly what's happening, but he was involved in it down at Jupiter Island, Florida, and his condition is not immediately known at this time. Now, there's going to be a press conference, I think, in the next hour. There's, conflicting reports out there that we're going to be careful with because we're not sure exactly what's right or what isn't. But, man, Tiger and car issues is wild.
I'm just going by the pictures. It seems weird to roll a car in a neighborhood. And I get it, stupid things happen. A guy can pull out of his driveway. But if you're going 30 kilometers or 15, 20 miles an hour, how do you roll a car in a neighborhood?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see if we can get some answers on that. And, again, there have been some reports, ABC and others, that no injuries have been reported at this point. So, again, we'll see what else comes in. But this is obviously a higher priority than whether or not he's going to play in a couple of weeks. But I guess Trump was on Fox yesterday and outed Tiger as not playing at Augusta anyway. And I can't imagine this would help his cause. So,
Tiger said to him, you want to just keep this low prof, but I'm probably not going to play. An hour later.
Right on Fox and Friends.
It's like that meme, like when you say, like, anytime I tell my mom something, and then she's got, like, the camera.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just immediately. Trump immediately outs him. Yeah, not playing.
But it's almost one of those pieces of news that, like, I was in the Sports Center newsroom just an hour ago, and the guys were like, yeah, Tiger rolled over his car. You're like, you almost can't believe that you're hearing it again.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, how many times is a high-profile celebrity guy like that, athlete, going to roll a car? Like, once in a lifetime feels like a lot.
Yeah.
And now it's twice.
Yeah, his life, man, is obviously there's going to be a movie on him, a documentary. There's already been a lot of documentaries. There's been multiple documentaries, but one of the more fascinating public figures in sports history.
Yeah.
And hopefully Tiger's okay and everyone's okay, and we'll keep you up to date on anything that's coming out of this.
But if I was running his affairs, like after the first incident in Florida where he got pulled over and he was all buzzed up on stuff, like if I was it'd be like never a car again. Like driver, security, like that's how you're going to move around.
Mm-hmm.
You're a billionaire.
Yeah. Now, we don't know if he was driving the car.
Yeah, that's true too.
But you're right, though. He was driving when he was in L.A., and that was near fatal. Like he's lucky to be alive. And you're right. He's had DUIs before, and he's had a lot of issues in his life. And it is interesting, like a guy of that stature, like just get in the back seat and be driven around.
Yeah.
Easy for us to say because he's a private citizen and he wants to live his life the way he wants to live it. But he's worth billions of dollars.
There's guys that make a lot less than that have drivers.
Drivers all the time.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
And guys that maybe have, less to lose as well than Tiger.
Yeah. So we'll see what comes of it with Tiger. So were you in Montreal last night,
Yeah.
Frankie? So that was a big win for them. That one stung by Columbus. But What are the vibes like with the Habs right now?
It's good, man. Like, did you guys see Mason Marchment? Poor guy. He whiffed on that puck just sitting in the crease, 35 seconds to go. Like, I was telling Muddy after the game, like, he could simulate that play 100 times over, and he would score 100 times.
Yes.
But that one, he just whiffed on it. But that was a good win for them. It was 2 in a row where they, for a good 40 minutes against Carolina on Tuesday, and then Columbus has been hottest team in the league outside of Buffalo, basically. So yeah, they're playing well, and the goalie's pretty captivating right now. Like Dobish, the young kid, he's found a little swagger, a little confidence. Caulfield's been on fire. Yeah, they're in a good spot.
Yeah,
I think they're like Marty. It sounds like this is what he envisioned for this group. Like he was asked about that. I think Kenzie asked him, how close is the team to playing like your vision for them? He's like, pretty bang on.
Well, this is when you'd want it to peak.
Yeah.
Right? You got less than 10 games to go. You're in a playoff spot. You can never say comfortably, but they must feel pretty good about themselves, especially after the last 2 wins against Columbus and Carolina.
If they can do some good things in the playoffs and show some more signs and make progress on last year, like you have a big summer and then big trade deadline next. Like who knows how good they can be?
Well, like from my standpoint, and you're around them a lot, Frank, but they have established the core of the team is already in place. Like it's going to be one of Dobish or Fowler. Both of them will be there, but one of them might separate and be the number one goaltender.
Montembeault's out of the loop?
He's going to be, yeah. They're just going to cut bait with him. But you've got Dobson locked in. You've got Hudson locked in. You just re-signed Matheson. You've got Gooley on term. Like those are your top 4 defensemen in some capacity. And I think they feel pretty comfortable with Oliver Kapanen as their second-line center. I mean, maybe that adjusts into the future, but you got Suzuki, you got Caulfield, you got Slavkovsky, you've got Demidov. Like, you've got everything in place. A top 4 defense, 3 or 4 electric forwards, 2 good young goalies.
Some veteran leadership.
Yeah, now it's like, okay, pieces. Now keep going. Yeah, there's other pieces to add, but...
Yeah, they're not a finished project yet, and I think some of that is going to come from, like, Hage or a couple of their young guys on the back end, like it's a Reinbacher or Engstrom, who are 2 young guys, but, like, if you look at how the team was built, it's really built through trades and the draft and no free agents. Like, their free agents that are on the roster right now are, like, Texier and Joe Veleno. Like, they haven't really landed a big free agent. So maybe they've kind of done it so that's the little, that's that little finishing spice, if you want to call it that. And maybe this is the summer where they get someone, even though it's not a, it's not a super sexy class.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's like they don't need to acquire someone that pushes the depth chart down, is my point.
Yeah.
Like, they're not looking for a number 1 center. They have it. They're not looking for a scoring winger. They have it. Like, you can add to it.
Yeah.
You can always get richer, but they have their number 1 defenseman. That's what I'm saying. Like, now you're just kind of building, you're adding to it, right? Like,
you can be patient when you build it that way.
Yes, exactly. They've done a great job.
You don't feel like you're forced into doing something you don't want to. And when the team's kind of exceeded expectations, you're like, this is kind of found money for us. We're happy with this, and we'll make the right move at the right time. So, yeah, they're playing good.
Good place to be in.
They have to because everyone else plucks points. Like Ottawa grabbed a point last night. Pittsburgh wins a game. The Islanders had a big win against Dallas. So everyone's still doing their thing.
Well, that's it. Ottawa loses in a shootout and they drop out of the playoffs. Like that's how convoluted it is right now. Detroit just keeps following further and further back.
They got tonight too.
Who are they
Detroit's
playing?
Got Buffalo in Buffalo. I think Buffalo's lost 2 in a row. Yeah. This could be it for Detroit. Like,
they lose tonight in reg, you're toast.
The season hinges on tonight for them.
Got to find a way to get a win tonight.
I got to say, I was happy for that Allmark last night. I've been tough on that guy. He hasn't had a good year. He's dealt with things, but he looked like he had some competitive juice. He looked like a competitive guy last night. He made some great stops, and it just looked like, I don't know. And I'm not going to get into what his body language, because I don't know what was going on behind the. He's had a really difficult year, but he looked like he was engaged and competitive and in the real deal last night.
They need him. Like, James Reimer's not playing in the playoffs.
Dude, if that Ottawa had goaltending this year, they'd be at top of the East somewhere.
Yes.
There's not a question in my mind.
I agree. They'd be well over 100
Well over.
Projected.
Worst save percentage in the league. Now, like, the team has played well all season long. Like, they've picked up the goaltending. They've got, 10 games left? 11 games left? this is like a reasonable stretch where the goalie can pick up the team that's pretty banged up without Sanderson, without Shabbat, without Jensen. Like, it's reasonable to say, hey, can you emulate something like what you did last night?
Yeah.
Especially when you're paying your goalie $8 million.
Yeah, he's got to be the guy. It's got to go both ways. All right, so we'll get into some of the comments coming out of Leaf Camp today. They're in St. Louis tomorrow. Then they hit the road out west. William Nylander has some thoughts on what went wrong this year, but he's not going to reveal them. It's like, I got some ideas. Yeah, we'll play the clip. We'll get into it, and we'll try to mind read Willie and where he thinks it may have gone wrong this year. Leafs in St. Louis tomorrow. So Alistair Johnston coming up of the men's national team, the World Cup, obviously right around the corner. He's still nursing that injury. He's coming off of surgery, but it feels like he's going to be back relatively soon and a big part of the Canadian team. So we'll catch up with Alistair. We'll get him in studio. We got Keegan coming up today. We got MJ coming up just after 5 o'clock. OverDrive continues up on YouTube Live. All right, OverDrive continues, powered by FanDuel. Jay's opening night tonight down at the Dome. Keegan coming up in about an hour. Johnny will join us just after 5 o'clock, but we're all in here, and we're all in here for a reason. Brian Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Frankie Corrado, Alistair Johnston in here. What's happening, Alistair?
Nothing much. Excited to be here. Thank you guys for having me on.
Great to see you. It sounds like you're like hosting or co-hosting Sports Center. Is that the plan tonight?
That is the plan. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's just the baby Sports Center, just the 60-minute one there.
Okay.
Save the 90-minute one.
You know it's a big deal when you start seeing Sports Center promo commercials on our network because they don't do them anymore, right? Remember back in the day they used to do what was it, Rodski and Dutch?
Oh, yeah.
All the Sports Center promos.
Big time.
I haven't seen one in years. But for this guy...
Whose idea was this? Was this like you went to us or... No.
No, I got floated a couple weeks ago. To be fair, like even back in 2022 in Qatar, the plan was actually for me to stay on longer with TSN and do some kind of match commentary, be in the booth, do some post-match analysis, which I was really keen to. But luckily enough, I actually had a move off of the back of it, and I had to get myself over to Scotland to sign for Celtic, which was kind of something that took priority over TSN, which I apologize for, but it's worked out well for me. So that's always kind of in the back of my mind that TSN have wanted to get me on for a couple things, and then this one ended up working out. I'm just coming back from an injury now, so I was coming over for a little training stint, and yeah, they knew that I was free for as many media obligations as possible.
I love it.
I wonder if old Stevie Caldwell's in a back room somewhere, like hijacking his equipment, trying to sewer him.
Possibly. Have you picked up on that, Kevin and Stevie? Are they're all on board with this, or what?
Man, those two are legends. They're absolute legends.
Have you ever enjoyed a cold beer with one of those two gentlemen?
I have, and I've been lucky enough. Obviously, Steve-O was actually on our staff at one point a couple years back, and it was great after a big win or something, and the camp's at the end. It's a Tuesday night, and you're trying to figure out where to go, and you head down to the hotel bar, and who's there? But the big man has always got a pint ready to go, and he's one of the best chats of all time.
Ever.
He is, man.
He's a great pint to have one with, and again, the stories I get off of him, and then I'm able to give back. He's well connected to Celtic, obviously growing up in Scotland, and his brother actually played for Celtic as well, so he's come over quite a few times. We've shot a couple things over there, and one of my all-time favorite just dudes, but also, by the way, a really good coach. Like, that's a guy that knows his stuff. Was unbelievable for a lot of the young players, especially the center backs and defenders, kind of taking them under their wing. And when I first came to the national team, I was a fullback my entire professional career. But as I came into the national team under John Herdman, we were playing a back three. And I lied to him and said that I'd played center back before. So they put me there, and it was pretty much Steve-O's job to teach me how to actually play the role that I said that I knew how to do in the first place.
Right.
So he has actually made my national team career, and from off the back of my national team career, my professional career as well.
That's beautiful, man. And he gets you prepped for Scottish lifestyles, right? Yeah. Like now you've been over there playing for Celtic, and you said you're recovering from the injury. Actually, you had surgery, right, on the hamstring? Like, how's the hammy feeling these days?
No, it's come a long way. But again, I've learned through the hard way that a hamstring is a really finicky injury. I would take a broken bone over it every day of the year. With bones, breaks like that, it really is just a pain barrier thing, and I haven't ever really struggled with that. But with this, you get to feeling about 90% so quickly, but then you're talking to your physios and the surgeon. He's saying, yeah, you still got 3 months more to go, and it's like, wow, how is that possible? But that's just what it is. All it takes is one wrong step, and it can just go again. And that's the frustrating part with muscles. But thankfully, I'm getting close. I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm just hoping that it's not another oncoming train.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely into that final stage of the rehab now, and it's perfect timing. I mean, we're at the tail end now of our European season. Still got a lot to play for with Celtic, and obviously a home World Cup coming down the pipeline here real quick, which is going to be. Yeah,
well, that's got to be inspiring, right? Like you mentioned with muscles, there's only so much you can do, but it's got to be incredibly inspiring making sure you're back and ready to play. And it sounds like Jesse Marsh, like he wants you around the team, right, for this window. And obviously that's got to be incredibly gratifying. Like if you're healthy, you're going to be playing, right? Is that the plan?
That is the plan, at least in my mind. We'll see if it's still in his mind come June 12th. But yeah, no, it definitely goes to show that I have a level of importance in the group, and that's a nice feeling. It's something you always want to feel as a player. You want to feel that you're appreciated and loved. So it's been great to be back here, be around the group. I actually missed the September, October, and November windows, and football's funny. International calendars are a really strange thing where if you're injured in the fall, you might not see your team again from going from the summer all the way till this March window, for example. So for me, I thought if I'm missing this March window too, I'd potentially be going into a World Cup having not been with my national team in camp, having seen any of them in person for 12 months.
Right.
And for me, that's not really conducive to having, a good lead-in into a World Cup. And I know also what I need to bring off the pitch in terms of helping the guys out as a leadership kind of role that I thought it was really important for me to be out here.
Yeah, that's great.
So I've been really happy and thankful that Celtic let me come out and that Jesse wanted me out here.
Well, and you're not alone, right? Alfonso's been injured. Other guys have been banged up. No one ever expects to get to a major tournament and feel like they have 100% health, but you guys are kind of going through it. We had Jesse on a couple of weeks ago, and he was exuding confidence, and he feels pretty good about where the squad is at right now. But what can you tell us in terms of the injured guys, not only yourself, but like how close you think you're going to be to a full squad come June 12th?
Look, it's part of the game, unfortunately, injuries. And yeah, this year, when you look at it, has it been perfect for us? No, and not even close by any stretch of the imagination. The number of injuries we've had has been way more than we would have liked. But at the same time, in terms of the actual timing, there is an argument that if everything goes perfectly, which it doesn't always happen with rehabs, there's going to be bumps along the road, but that we ideally would have pretty much our full squad fit coming into the summer. And the difference is that it could end up playing to our benefit as the fact that a lot of our senior players who play massive minutes potentially this year, instead of going into a World Cup coming off of a European season where they've played 50 matches, traveled across the Atlantic Ocean on 3 or 4 separate occasions to play international matches, might have only played a handful and are actually coming in fresh, rejuvenated, and ready to go for the summer. So there is, a silver lining to the injuries to a degree, but at the same time if you were to ask anyone, Jesse included, would you rather your whole team be fit or, playing kind of a numbers game as you get closer and closer to the World Cup? He would definitely have chose the fit option. But we are where we are, and hopefully we can just all get back in time for it.
So you're an experienced guy now, and we've watched Team Canada play soccer, and the thing that sticks out to me is how fast you guys are, how quick you are in transition. Like, you can beat a lot of teams that way. Do you guys take a lot of pride in playing that kind of soccer, and how difficult is it for the opposition when you guys are at the top of your game?
Oh, do we ever take pride in that? And I think that's been probably the best thing about bringing Jesse in, is that he came through the Red Bull family. And for everyone that doesn't know that, Red Bull is known for, it's a German kind of brand of football that they have within their kind of family of teams, and they're known for lots of pressing, lots of high-speed football, playing direct, playing intense. And I thought it was actually a perfect fit when I knew the options that were coming in as potential coaches, when we were looking for one, that he was going to be the one that kind of all of our senior players circled and said, look, if you can somehow convince him to come, he's going to be perfect. Because our team, we're built on athleticism. We are one of the most athletic teams in the world, and that kind of is our comparative advantage. If you go and try and play the Spains and you say we're going to go and outpossess Spain, you're just being naive. You're just being stupid, if we're being completely honest. So we got to play into our hands. And when I look at it is at Celtic, for example, my top speed is the first or the second fastest on the team. I come here, I might not be on the top half of top speeds. It is ridiculous, how quick the guys are, how athletic everyone is with everything. And so we know that is our comparative advantage, and we try to make it, a living hell to play against. That's got to be our strategy to beat teams. And I think, again, when the fans look and watch our games, they can get excited by that because they can see a clear path, and they can see how it actually fits our profiles. And of course, then the results come with that. And you could see it in 2024 Copa America, the run that we made all the way to the semifinal. All of a sudden, we're beating massive teams, which is something that we've always struggled with in our history as a national team.
Jesse's got that energy just from the times. You might say something differently. You might have had run-ins with him.
Yeah.
But he has that energy vibe of a coach. Like, just everything's high tempo. He's always smiling. I don't know if it's for TV, but he's really got a good vibe to him.
No, he's when I first met him, I couldn't believe it in terms of just the energy. I thought, is this all an act? And then I got to know him a bit more, and I realized this guy was a true company man at that Red Bull. Again, he was in the Red Bull family. He was probably drinking a Red Bull the moment he woke up, at breakfast, at lunch.
Yep.
He's one of those guys that when he says one word, it's almost a trigger into the next thing, and he just cascades, and he builds, and you can just tell he's got such a genuine love for the game and how he wants the game to be played. And you can't help but like just feel it when you're in camp, the intensity that he brings. He's like that every single moment of the day. I'm telling you, the whole coaching staff, 6 a.m. to at the end of the night, you know what I mean? Like he picks up on every detail, and it's something, again, that you want. You don't want to feel like you're coming to the national team for a little vacation, to get home to Toronto and to, you know, maybe see your family. He doesn't see it like that. Like, no, we're here to win games and represent this country as best as possible.
All right, be honest. How many run-ins have you had where like FU contests? Because I hated my coaching relationships. It was like, close the door. Let's talk man to man here, and we got to air some things out.
We've had a couple, and I've got one story that's actually pretty good. Last summer, I got married, and the plan is that I wasn't going to play in the Gold Cup. I was going to go have my wedding. I made a deal with him where I wasn't going to bring a ton of players from the national team to my wedding, just so that they could go to the national team camp and make it all work, and that was fair. So I'm away. I'm on my honeymoon, and he gives me a call and says, "Hey, look, like, I want you to come to this tournament, and I know you're planning on maybe coming and showing up later, but like, can we move the flight up? Can you get in a little bit earlier?" And I'm like looking at my now wife on the beach. I'm going,
luck, dude.
"Whew, Jesse, that is a bit of a tough sell." But
you just pass the phone over and say,
yeah,
ask her.
I know. I literally nearly
Exactly.
went like, "Well, if you can run it by her, then you can get the all clear." But anyways, convinced the wife to let me do it. Still in the doghouse a little bit for that.
I bet, man.
So anyways, though, I fly from, where were we? St. Lucia through Charlotte to Vancouver. So no joke travel, get in. And I'm thinking, okay, my first day, you know, I've just been away for 2 weeks off the back of a European schedule, off the back of my wedding, for crying out loud. I'm thinking it's going to be a light one. No, right into full team training. And that next game, he's like, I want you to play. I want you to come off the bench. And I'm like, all right, well, I've trained like twice since I've been here. Again, I'm still maybe 5% still in honeymoon mode, you know, kind of enjoying it. Got the tan on. In Vancouver, it was just great. You know, everything was going good. And he brings me off the bench. I remember it was in Houston, the last group stage game. And it was just a tough game, this tough Curaçao team, physical, going long, and they scored an equalizer late. We still get through the group, but he comes up to me and he goes, he absolutely rips me after. He catches me one-on-one and absolutely, like, you're not ready, you're still in your honeymoon, all of this.
I love it.
And
All
I was
business,
like,
man.
Isn't that a coach move?
Fair
like,
enough.
Just, you make me fly across the world, and then you tell me that
Gotta be better.
But at the same time, it was like, I like almost appreciate it. I was like, all right, like, this guy's fully bought in. He's expecting as soon as you land in here and you come in a national team camp, you're fully bought in. I don't care where you were before. I don't care where you're going after. When you're here, you're on it. And he, even the next morning, obviously gave me a little, as an older player, he came up to me and went like, look, I'm gonna have the meeting and I'm gonna absolutely chew you out in there again. So I went, great, here we go. And so we sit down the meeting, clips, and he's just absolutely hammering me, going, you can see this, you're not ready, you're still in your honeymoon here, I can see it all. And I'm just sitting there in the front row going, I mean, you're not wrong, but
no excuses,
dude.
man.
I could still be on a beach right now.
Yeah.
Don't you love that though for Canada? Like, you're gonna go against some like really formidable soccer countries, and you're Canada, but you guys are a really strong program. But it's like, no excuses. Just because the history is the history, we can beat anyone.
Yeah,
that's what he's trying to drill into you. That's how I see it.
He's been great in terms of, he came in and he's used this line great. He said, you Canadians, you guys are all too nice. I'm an American. I'm very
abrasive.
Yeah, abrasive would be the word. Let's meet somewhere in the middle. I'm going to make you a bit more abrasive and you're going to make me a bit more nice. And that's what he wants from us. He wants us to just know, yeah, you're playing against Argentina. Who cares? Go hit Messi. Like, do what you need to do to go and get a result. And that's been a big thing about him. And he's instilled that confidence in us that not only can we fight, actually go out there and win the fight, but we can also win the game. And that's something that he's brought to us. And again, it ties into the group that we have, the athleticism, but also now the natural talent that's just coming through this group. I mean, it's just, since the day I walked into where we're at now, the player pool, it's amazing.
I like that mentality, though, because if you just go into those games and you're like, this is a superior opponent, we have no chance, let's just try to get through this, you get smoked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly
you basically laid the framework for losing and almost accepting it in a way. Alistair Johnston with us of the Canadian national team and Celtic FC. So let's talk a little bit about your life in Scotland. Because,
the fishbowl.
Yes, a Canadian kid going over there. What was the biggest adjustment for you? Like the style of play in the Scottish Premiership, the crowds, the lifestyle, you know, growing up in the Toronto area.
Can you hammer beers at 4 p.m.?
I don't know. What's Glasgow like for a player on Celtic?
To be fair to it, it is not dissimilar to Canada in terms of the people are so genuine. Like, they're just genuinely great people. They love you. They are unbelievably abrasive as well in terms of they wear their heart in their sleeve. They'll see you in the street. They'll run across and give you a piece of their mind, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. It's a crazy group of people, and you got to respect them for that. For me, it actually wasn't the football wasn't the biggest change. Playing in front of 60,000 people at Celtic Park obviously opens your eyes to how much football means. But it was the off the pitch stuff. You know, all of a sudden, you can't just go for a walk. Like, I was playing in Montreal the year before I went there, and I was playing for the national team, going in a World Cup, but I could walk through the streets of Montreal with no issue. There'd be a little billboard of myself and the team there, and I could walk right by, and no one would bat an eye. Right. Glasgow, you can have a hat on, sunglasses, AirPods in, and dudes are running up and grabbing you pretty much. So there's things that you have to learn. So I first lived, they told us, all the international boys, they all live in the West End, get a nice flat there. And I was like, okay, perfect. So I did that, and I said after 6 months, I said, there's no chance. Like, I need somewhere where I can just have some of my own space, you know what I mean? It honestly, it's equivalent to being a Maple Leaf in Toronto to a degree. Oh, yeah. It really is. It's a fishbowl. It's a city where there isn't any other A-list celebrities. There's not. The musicians are Celtic fans, for crying out loud. I mean, Sir Rod Stewart is a Celtic. He sits in front of me when I'm injured in the director's box. Amazing. Louis Capaldi, another huge one, huge Celtic fan. So you are the A-list celebrity, and having to understand that kind of mindset made me realize, okay, you need to find a way to understand that you are a Celtic player 24/7, but then how do you get your escape? So then we moved down. We got a house with, a private garden, so we could just have the dog out there and not need to go out for walks and stuff, and just find a way to have peace. And, like, for crying out loud, I get my groceries delivered. You know how sad that sounds.
But that's the way.
That's the way to do it. It's the way to do it. Costco's the craziest day of my month. Every single time when I got to go in there, it's a melee in there.
Do you ever slip up and call it soccer while you're doing any interviews over there?
No, I don't.
Is that, like, sacrilegious if you're like
soccer
game
what
tonight?
Frankie did 20 minutes ago?
Well, but we're Canadian, though.
Yes,
you grew up in soccer. It's like uniforms, but it's got to be kids.
It says on our jersey, Canada Soccer.
Yeah, exactly. Where are the standings? So, like, it's table, you idiot. Like, all right, relax. I don't know.
No, there's a lot of things that if you walk in and say, and there's still some things I switch. Like, if you don't say squad, but you said what's the lineup or, like, the team, like, you're gonna, it's instantly, it's that kind of one. How do you count to 3? You know what I mean? One of those ones. Like, he doesn't really fit in, that guy. So there's a couple things you need to be smart with. Yeah, soccer is a bit sacrilegious over there. You don't really want to be saying that. It'll just only hurt your credibility, and that's something you got to take with a lot of pride over there, because as soon as they get an inch, they can take it a mile, especially when you share a city with your biggest rival.
Well, and I wanted to get into that because we were talking prior to you coming on. So my grandfather grew up just outside of Glasgow. Huge Ranger fan. Yeah. Massive Ranger fan, which meant he hated Celtic more than he loved Rangers.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
In a way. Like, in other words, if they lost, Rangers lost 5 in a row, but Celtic had lost 6 in a row, he was happy because the Celtic, and he'd talk about fights, and that was the majority of what you'd hear, like just hooligan behavior between the two parties. Have you witnessed anything that made you realize, wow, this is very different? So like Rangers, Celtic in particular.
My Celtic debut. So when I signed right after the World Cup, I went straight from Qatar there, and the January window opens January 1st. So I had signed just before, but you can't get registered to play in a match until January 1st. And there's a long-standing tradition that Celtic and Rangers always play the first weekend of January. And that happened to be must have been January 2nd. And I wasn't supposed to start that game, but the other right back struggled a little bit that week, and all of a sudden I got dropped in. So my very first match with Celtic was away at Ibrox in front of 50,000 Rangers fans in the most hostile of environment I've ever seen. Again, they took the lead to go 2-1, and the whole stadium does this thing where they start jumping. And I was looking around going, okay, this is going to take some getting used to. But we scored an equalizer with one of the last kicks of the game. And the euphoria that I felt, and I'd only been in the building for a couple weeks at that point, but just to feel the passion. And again, this is now with the smaller allotments. We only had 750 brave souls, those Celtic fans, going away to Ibrox, 50,000 Rangers fans, 750 Celtic fans tucked away in the corner.
Dying to get their hands on them, too, if they can.
Oh, yeah. And you should imagine the things that were being thrown into that little section when we scored the equalizer, but going over to celebrate with them and seeing just how much it meant, I was like, wow, this is what you want to play for. When you're an athlete, you want to feel like the matches that you're playing are meaningful. And every single match with Celtic is, and especially when you're playing your rival, because again, when I talk to people back home about this, they try and say like, what's the rivalry like? I'm like, well, it's tough. Like I think like, okay, Habs, Leafs, but there's a 4-hour, 5-hour drive between them. Like this,
in the same town.
The same town. The stadiums are a stone throw from each other. You know what I mean? It's
crazy.
You're neighbors with these people, and it's exactly like what your grandfather would have experienced.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like you love your team, but you almost just hate the other team even
them
more.
so much.
So that was something that I learned in living in Glasgow as well. Is that everyone knows who you are, but you don't know if they love you or they hate you until they open up their mouth.
Right.
And the Scots, especially the Glaswegians, they are going to open up their mouth when they see you.
So what is the booze scene like after work on a week? Like, is it just
beautiful?
Hit the like it's.
The players, unfortunately, we don't get away with it as
I
much
get it,
now.
but I mean the guys and like the regulars.
The pre-games and the pubs and like
the regular folk, are they going to the pub every single day and hammering pints after work at 4 o'clock? Like, what is the deal? Do you know what the deal is?
There will be a select few that definitely do that, and it's amazing. You can drive by a pub if we're playing on a Tuesday night. You drive by a Celtic pub or anything to do with an Irish pub, and the line is out the door at 2 o'clock. Lads that probably have worked a night shift or spending their whole week's wages just to get in there. You know what I mean? Like they're an amazing, passionate bunch. And yeah, it's part of the reason why I was desperate to go over there. There was no way I was going to finish my entire career without playing in the UK. And when I had the opportunity to go to Scotland, I was like, Celtic, I was like, this is an absolute no-brainer, because the passion over there, it's one of those ones, like I just tell people, you have to get over there and just experience it, because it is something, it almost takes you back, You're in the stadium, you're watching these games, and there's no phones out. People, every single person is so invested on the product, and they know what they're talking about, too.
Yeah.
It's like, it's amazing.
No
like,
bluff at anybody.
There's no bluffing. Everyone, if I pass the ball backwards, I'm getting 60,000 of my own fans booing me. But then I know what it's like here. If you do that, sometimes it's the corporate boxes, it's whatever.
Yeah.
They're still in their intermission having their caviar and stuff.
Okay,
it's
so let me ask you.
over there. It's all
let me ask you this.
different
There's
thing.
been a big thing with hockey in Toronto here, where people are starting to say like, it's too scrutinized and we don't like the pressure. Like, do you enjoy being in an environment where everybody is super excited, super invested, and they actually care a lot and they know what they're talking about?
Yes, I've seen a lot of it, and I know that it's obviously going to be a big summer for the Leafs with a couple major names. We'll see where that goes. But
we'll start rumors now on this.
I'm not going to start. This is just what I'm reading.
Start running people out of town.
No, I'm desperate for him to stay, but it takes a very specific individual to succeed in these kind of markets, and that's something that I've always found. The players that survive and are successful at Celtic aren't necessarily the best players, but they're the ones with the personality to live up to it. And there's a famous saying from Jock Steen that the Celtic top doesn't shrink to any player. So pretty much meaning that, like, if you can't wear it with pride, if you can't match the moment, meet the moment, you're not going to last here. It doesn't matter how good of a footballer you are. You need to be able to deal with the good and the bad and not... And that's a little bit what Toronto is in hockey. And
it's a great example of a guy like Darcy Tucker. He was never the best player on the team, but he was always at the top.
Put the jersey on. Let's go.
The jersey on. Let's go.
Couldn't wait.
He fought. Yeah. He was intense. He scored goals, and the moment was never too big for that guy. And that's why he's loved.
That's exactly it, man. Well, that's what we're banking on starting June 12th, right? We still don't know who you guys are going to play. Feels like it's likely Italy, which will be pretty wild.
Is that where the money's on?
That's definitely where the cash is going right now.
The FanDuel's on here.
That's what FanDuel is. It's a pretty heavy favorite.
Good little plug there, attaboy.
That's now you're in the business, man. This guy's media savvy. So you're coming up on SportsCenter with Sarah, right? You and Sarah Davis are co-hosting at 6 p.m. on SportsCenter. So it's coming up right after our show. We'll give you a little bit of a lead in, then you guys will really pop at 6 o'clock. And then you got a couple of friendlies, and when you're back in town, it's go time, right? June 12th.
Exactly that. It's go time.
That's awesome.
And we'll see. I mean, well, all eyes will be on Tuesday afternoon to see what team is going to be that one that we're opening up with on June 12th. I mean, there's going to be quite a big population of Toronto that will be cheering definitely for Italy. We'll see. I think it'd be great if we got Italy. It'd be great if we got Bosnia as well. Both were going to be difficult matches and pose their own issues and threats. But either way, I just can't wait, and I bet you guys can't either.
We can't wait.
We're feeling the momentum.
It's going to be amazing.
To just grow and grow and grow as we get closer.
Really starting to build. It's going to be an awesome World Cup. We cannot wait for it. He is Alistair Johnston. Good luck getting back on the pitch.
Thank you, guys.
And getting that hammy back at 100%. And we really appreciate you popping by. Great.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
There he is, the handshake king. Big
man.
Alistair Johnston joining us. OverDrive continues up on YouTube Live. Mail It In Friday brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you'll get it all in 20 minutes or less. A fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza. What an awesome guy Alistair Johnston is. Like, immediately a friend of the show, or at least that's going to be our perspective. We'll see if he leaves and never comes back on. But incredible insight. Awesome guy, really fired up for the World Cup. And I think if you live in the city, you're aware of what's coming. But once you get the players in town, you get Marsh speaking on it, you get guys like Alistair pumping the tires of what's about to happen in a couple of months, man. It really gets you fired up. World Cup cannot come soon enough. Cannot wait for it. All right, Jay's opening night down at the Dome. Keegan Matheson coming up. Johnny will join us. The Leafs are hitting the road starting tomorrow night. We'll touch on that with Johnny. Frankie's in here, the O-Dog. I'm Brian Hayes. Hour 2 up next. OverDrive continues up on TSN 4.
You got this.
We have a crisis.
What? Everyone panic!
Oh. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah!
They don't call them LA's finest for nothing.
Exactly. Don't get too excited.
The Rookie, all new Monday on CTV. Stream next day on Crave.
It's Mail It In Friday.
The plant called and said if you don't come in tomorrow, don't bother coming in Monday.
Woohoo! 4-day weekend.
This is Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Hour 2 Overdrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you more ways to play your game your way. Opening night down at the Rogers Center. Jays and the Athletics, Kevin Gausman on the mound. It's great to see that tweet come out a couple hours ago. First lineup of the season. And it's similar to last year, right? They got Lucas hitting second. There was some chatter that maybe Varsho would hit second. That's not happening. But cleanup hitter to start the year, your boy Addison Barger. Hitting fourth, protecting Vladdy. Big opportunity for him, man. Like, big opportunity. You come out and mash and hold on to that spot.
Yeah.
And you're the guy that makes other teams realize, okay, we better pitch to the big dog here because Barger's coming up and he's going to make us pay if we pitch around him.
That's a big transition in pro sports. Like, I had a meeting with Jimmy Rutherford where he said, I'm trading Andrew Castles and you are no longer a young guy, that we want to see what you're a player now. And you got to be that guy on a nightly basis. The joke's over.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like you walk out of the meeting, you're like, okay, party's over.
Yeah,
not party's over, but you got to grow up quickly, and you got to. It's just it's a different. It's
like
a different level of everything.
Over, man. It's like fun and games are over, and it's like we actually.
There's not like, you're a young guy. We can live with the mistakes.
Yeah.
You got to be the guy.
Listen, there's certain places in different lineups throughout sports that get your attention. You know, obviously, if you're on the first line, if you're a starter in the NBA,
that number 4 spot is one of them.
If you're hitting cleanup in Major League Baseball, I don't think Schneider really needed to have a chat with him. He might have, but they're basically saying we have huge expectations for you, and the leash is not going to be crazy long because the guy ahead of you, he ain't moving. Like Vladdy's sitting there. Vladdy can go 0 for 30. He's hitting third. You're not going to be granted that same opportunity, but if you come out rocking, and listen, granted, it's a long season. You're going to have some ups and downs, but Barger's got an opportunity to grab it and not give it up.
Very complimentary, though.
It's a great opportunity.
Right? The
for
fact
him.
that fact that he's getting that opportunity right away, that should be flattering to him. And if you look at that lineup, you're like, Barger can mash, and then if the other team's going to get in some trouble, Alejandro Kirk is all about contact, putting the ball in play, like tough out. He's going to foul ball a million times and then try and win an at bat. You're like,
what about
then
Big
Varsho,
Earn at an 8 spot?
Yeah, Big Earn,
like,
man.
That's a really good lineup, man.
Yes,
like, we talk
tonight.
about the AL East and how difficult it is. I think other teams will look at the Jays and say, that's a good lineup. There's not much differentiating the best teams in that division.
Well, and again, it starts with the guy, obviously, in the 3-hole in Vladdy, but the guy at the top, too. Springer, you're going to DH. That's your life down the majors. That's what you did last year. You're going to DH. I used the David Ortiz analogy yesterday, and I think it's an accurate one. I know he's a different player. Ortiz was a left-handed hitter. He's a right-handed hitter. He doesn't have the same amount of pop. But basically, lock in. You're just going to DH every single day. You're going to lead off every day. If you stay healthy, you're going to have more at-bats than anybody else. And if you can get even close to replicating what you did last year, sets the table for everything offensively.
How close does he get? Like last year, he was, 32 home runs?
Yeah, and he had a 950 OPS. He was a top 5 American League MVP
He could have
candidate.
22 home runs this year. Would that not be considered a successful year for him
I would
at age
take
36?
If I could sign off on 20 plus health, give me a 875 OPS.
Yeah,
taking it.
100%.
Like that's a really good, consistent, really good year. Great year.
You can't expect him to do what he did last year, not at this age.
No, I think.
But if you get 75% of that, 80% of that,
you got a really good player in your hands.
Yeah.
And, last year changed the reputation of everything. Like Nathan Lucas is a guy this time last year. No one was talking about him. Addison Barger, Ernie Clement, who was like, is he going to make the team, not make the team? What's his role going to be? And now obviously you win 94 games, go to a World Series, everything changes, and you can look at that board and say, I love this lineup. So Jays A's tonight, Keegan coming up from the park in about 25 minutes. Do we have the Nylander audio and video? I don't know if we do or not. Doogie's on the phone, so I don't know what's going on. But Nylander was speaking today and was asked about what he thinks has maybe gone wrong this year. He did. Oh, great. There you go. Okay, we do have it. Why don't we just play it? Here's William Nylander from today on what he has seen this year and maybe what he thinks has possibly gone wrong with the Leafs.
You look back at it and go, you kind of wish the team had done something different, like played different, or I don't know. When you look back at it, do you see the mistakes that as they piled up, kind of?
I mean, I have like my thoughts about maybe some stuff, but I mean that's something I'm going to keep to myself.
Okay. So, yeah, Willie's not going to reveal it, not surprisingly. And I don't think he shouldn't just sit there and start throwing daggers. But he's a heavy hitter. Like, we look at his reputation is kind of a free-wheeling Willie. He's out there just playing and having a good time. But you always use the term, like, stock in the team. Willie's been here for 10 years. Outside of Matthews, no one has more stock in the team than him. He's the second highest paid guy. He's still in his prime, leading the team in points. I would like
saying that. Wouldn't you think you'd get more than? I got some thoughts, but I'll keep it to myself.
I'd love for him, but I wonder if he's going the hockey guy route. Like, I'm not going to publicly air this out because it's just going to cause a problem. What I'm getting to is I hope he steps up and reveals what he sees as a problem behind the scenes.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and maybe
maybe that's where you get the content. But if, like, Keith Pelly reportedly is doing all these one-on-one chats with people.
What do you think that one-on-one is like?
I hope Willie's saying what he's saying. Now, it doesn't mean that Willie better be prepared for it to go back the other way. It's not like Willie's had a great year individually. He's been okay, but he's had some down spurts too.
No kidding.
So it goes back at him, and I'm sure he's aware of that. Willie's a big boy. He's been in the league for a long time.
Dude, I think it's time to cut that crap out. Asking these guys what they think the issue is, you start telling them what the issues are. Obviously, the organization, the management has to do their work, but asking guys, like coddling them, saying, what do you think could be better? Enough of that crap.
So who is going to give you that answer, though?
Mike Johnson.
Okay. I get you, but he's not behind the scenes. He's not playing for the team.
I wonder if Keith Pelly did a one-on-one with Mike Johnson looking for what went wrong this year. What would Johnny say?
Okay, well, that's a perfect segue. He happens to be on the line. I'm not sure you guys were aware of that.
I just thought that we were going to keep talking.
Is he there? I don't even know if he is there. All right, here's Mike Johnson, our TSN hockey analyst, joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. Johnny, if you're on a one-on-one, I don't know, maybe you did have a one-on-one meeting with Keith Pelly, and he asked you, what did you see as the main problem this year? What was the answer?
Well, I have some thoughts, but guys, I have to keep this to myself. Listen, if someone were to ask me, I mean, I think like every question, the answer is not obvious and simple, right? It's sort of multi-layered. But you can say health, Tanev, the goalies, whatever. But I think to me, the crux of the matter was that the Toronto Maple Leafs as a team with their personnel have gotten further and further away from a team that plays with the puck, plays with speed, and is able to control play on a regular basis. And that's a function of, size and skill and age and personnel and all of it. And in an effort to become this big, gritty, tough playoff team, they've become a bad regular season team. And they have to find a better balance to get back to being a better regular season team, as well as maximizing their best players, because they don't thrive playing the way that you're asking them to play. That, to me, would sort of be the starting point to where further, deeper conversations would go.
Yeah, and it seems like no one really knows how secure they are around there. I guess I'm speaking of Berube and Tree Living, and that's just my perspective on the outside looking in. But, again, Pierre LeBrun reporting that Keith Pelly's doing all these one-on-one chats. Mm-hmm. How do you not have an answer by now? I guess is what I'm saying. Like, how do you not know if you're keeping the coach or not? What are you possibly going to see or hear?
The GM has 1 year left on his deal, does he not?
Yes.
So you're either firing him or extending him. So given the way the season went, like, what's more likely at that point?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, exactly. And how does the organization feel? How does the ownership feel about consistency within the organization? All these kind of answers we don't have. And who's the next GM?
Like, you need a replacement if you're going to hire someone. If you're going to chew on, I don't know, whatever tree that makes $4 million a year or something, if you're going to eat that salary, you better have someone who's better. And I'm with you, Frankie. Like, I logistically, you'd think, yeah, it's going to be a change. But I don't even think it should be noteworthy that Keith Pelly or anyone who runs any organization that's as big and as important as the Toronto Maple Leafs has year-end meetings with people. Like, this should not be news. This should be like a biannual thing. If I ran a company like the Toronto Maple Leafs, I would meet with the important people a couple times a year minimum to get their thoughts and their perspectives and then sort of shape my own opinions based on what I heard. I don't know why this is big news. And as far as what more will they hear, I mean, I don't think they'll hear much as far as making the decision. The only question is, if he's made a decision, is it almost easier to make it in 2 weeks?
Well, that I understand.
Or to announce it in 2 weeks.
Yes, you've gotten this far. You're not. I hear you. Why it's big news is because no one knows what they're going to do, and everyone wants to know because it's the Maple Leafs. That's why everyone's waiting. The fans are starting to freak out. The fans are wanting change, and whether they listen to the fans or not, I don't know, and I don't even know if they should consider that. But it is the entertainment business. It is a business. You're asking people to buy tickets. You know, you're their customers as much as their fans. But that's why. I mean, any detail you can find, if you're an insider or a reporter, you're gonna report it because people are asking every single day.
And
we've been asking for a month. What are the Leafs going to do here?
And Johnny, like I get the sentiment behind doing the meetings and trying to get all the information. When a season has gone as bad as this one has been, and all these question marks as far as who's going to be here next year are up in the air, don't you think there's an element to some meetings? There could be a little bit of like throwing people under the bus and that kind of thing. Like, does it not get a little catty at that point, given everything that's happened this year?
There's a chance for some Hunger Games. Sure. Like, if my job's on the line and I want to say that Frankie Corrado D-coach didn't do a good job or Frankie Corrado GM didn't give me the right kind of team or coach Frankie Corrado didn't ask for the right kind of players, 100%. 100%. Like,
terrible.
That
right
could be the case. Yeah, it's his fault everywhere. But, this is where, if you run the team, you got to sift through perhaps conflicting motivations and self-serving interests and the reality of the team, not just the positive spin that the people who put the team and coach the team want to believe about that group, and come up with a definitive answer and an action plan. And, I don't know how much of this is, guys, sort of lost in language, right? We heard Tree the other day saying, yep, we're going to have a plan and we're going to execute the plan. And that sounds like future tense. We're going to have a plan? No, we already have a plan. Isn't that the answer? Like, we're not going to make one. We got one. And so it's all just a little bit curious as to which way they're going to go, because they have really big decisions about this franchise and about the franchise player that will impact him to make in the next 6-8 weeks. And, it's financially important. It's competitively important. It's a lot of things, and you got to get them right.
Johnny, we had Brucey Boudreau on the other day, and Brucey said the Leafs would, according to Brucey, they need possibly like 6 new faces next year. Quality players, not just Joe Blows. Is that even feasible in this league?
If you trade one really good one, you could probably get 4. You know what I mean?
Don't start this stuff on our show. Don't start this stuff on our show.
We don't partake in rumors, John.
We don't run people out of town either.
We don't do that.
Yeah, and then celebrate them once they're gone. I heard you guys do that as well.
What do you mean? Hang on a second. What are you talking about?
Yeah, please continue. Because I actually was about to segue to a former Leaf in just a few moments, but go ahead.
What does that mean?
No, I was joking because you guys were like saying, I saw some tweet or whatever post about how you guys were now defending Mitch after running Mitch out of town.
Well, why would they put his name? Of all the players that have been there forever, they had to pick our boy Mitchie?
Well,
garbage.
Here's the thing.
I didn't say it. I didn't post it. I just read it.
Yeah. I watched that game last night. He was invisible in Vegas.
Yeah.
He was awful last night.
Struggling.
Yes. And they got a point and Bouchard scored his 20th, but Mitch Marner, I don't know. I haven't watched him play every game this year, but
hey, Barry Trotz's philosophy, it takes a year for legacy players.
Yeah, it might. He still had a good year. It's not like he's been horrendous, but they are struggling in Vegas.
Well, a good year. He's a 100-point player. How many points does he have?
Got a point a game. I think he's got 70 points.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think even he's barely like an 80-point player if he played every game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, yeah, I hear you, Tony. I hear you. It's all good.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good. But that'll be interesting what happens in Vegas because, Stone had a couple last night. He hadn't scored in a while. Eichel, that Barbashev kid, he's not a kid. He's fun to watch play. He's pesky and he fights and he gets in there. But they've got a weird mix in Vegas. You got a lot of guys who pass the puck and a lot of playmakers.
Slow, aging blue line that they haven't been able to pick up the pieces without Pietrangelo.
Isn't it crazy
and they have
how
terrible
we went from
goaltending.
saying they're trees, they're physical, they're the best decor, and now they're aging and slow.
And here's the best part, because everyone had to build the Vegas model, right? And everyone had to build the Florida model. Now look what the Colorado Avalanche did. They said, we're speed and skill, and we're going to win a cup being high-flying.
Buffalo.
Watch us do it.
Buffalo might be the fastest team in the league.
So it went from trees to grit to what? High-flying? Is that where we're at?
Well, it's not good for the Leafs if it's high-flying.
The Leafs just went the other way.
Fast.
They went the other way.
Yeah.
I saw something today about, I know how much O loves those burst counts, and it had most, cumulatively for a team, most 20-mile-an-hour bursts or whatever, and the Leafs were second last in the Eastern Conference.
Wow.
So to back up your idea that they're slow, they're physically a slow team, and they took their fastest guy, Bobby McMahon, who can't stop scoring.
Oh.
They took him off the roster, so they've only gotten slower. I think, and the other part about Vegas, guys, is they swung big like they do and went to get Rasmus Anderson, and that trade has not worked out
at all.
For Vegas or for Rasmus Anderson. It was a good defenseman. Amazingly, since that deal, if you can believe it, Calgary has more wins than Vegas.
Ooh.
Calgary.
That's a great
one of the worst
stat.
teams in the league, 9-8. So, that's another part of, you take big cuts. They generally have hit on those big cuts, but when you miss, those sting.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering about, the idea of missing. Bouchard hitting his 20th goal last night, Schaefer playing the way he's playing. If you could go back in time and you think Team Canada could have one do-over, who do you think they would place on that team in Italy?
Oh.
Would it be Bouchard? Would it be Schaefer?
Yeah, no, I know. My gut says Schaefer because he's just so fast, and having stood there watching that game, it was lightning speed, beyond fast. And while Bouchard, he's obviously incredible to puck, he doesn't play particularly quick, and he wouldn't be needed on a power play that already was the best in the tournament with Cale Makar. So maybe I'm talking myself into Schaefer, but Bouchard's a great player. And Bouchard, as I sat there and watched Connor McDavid get frustrated without passes hitting him in the tape or in his skates, that's what put Bouchard out there with McDavid. You can sort of pair up a defenseman with the forward and make that something special, like a duo of a 5-man unit, Russian green line unit kind of thing. Either one would have been an improvement. If I had to pick one, the safer bet's Bouchard, I guess, but I don't know. Schaefer is playing 30 minutes a night right now. He is, with his legs, it's something special.
Johnny, we asked you a few days ago where your underpant cam was headed. Do you have a new destination, or is it still kind of hovering around the same areas?
I think I would be concerned about the Detroit press box, like Steve Yzerman, and where that team is right now.
What happened to them, Johnny?
Well, John Gibson went crazy for how long, Frankie? 2 months?
Yeah.
December. He was the best goalie in the league.
Well,
December, January?
Johnny, remember talking about which team was going to come out of the Olympic break stumbling? Right? There was going to be a team that was playing well and then come out of the Olympics and stub their toe, and it's kind of been Detroit, hasn't it?
Yeah, and if you look at the last, 5 years, for whatever reason, their record in March has been abysmal. They've had this history of really struggling in March, and whether it's crunch time or style or whatever, that is sort of where I look in the East for sure, is Detroit, because they were in it all year long. Now, they're still, by points percentage, right there with everyone, but, they're in 10th now. They're not that far up on Philly. They got a huge game against Buffalo tonight. So I would look to them. And then, as far as in the West goes, who knows? Could it even be Vegas? Like, Vegas is 1 point ahead of L.A. if L.A. wins their game in hand. One. Like, it's
Crazy.
Not inconceivable that Vegas missed the playoffs. They're probably 60% to make it, which means they're 40% not to, which would have been, you would have said I was crazy if I had suggested that even a month ago. So maybe in Vegas it's ratcheting up a little bit. It still feels like they'll figure it out because they're Vegas, but they're not particularly comfortable with just 9 games left.
And they got a negative goal differential now after last night. A negative goal differential in Vegas. And yeah, like they've still got Edmonton, they got Colorado, they got to go. They play Seattle twice, and Seattle's 5 points back with 2 games in hand. So like those are, Bobby McMahon, second round pick Bobby McMahon. He is he's on fire out there.
And how about Anaheim has a -4 goal differential?
And they're
first,
breathing easy atop the Pacific.
They're home and cool.
Home free, man. Home free.
They might screw up some people's plans, Anaheim.
Possible.
They could get a save.
No. Stahl's got to play great.
No.
He's got to play great.
No. But, they could win a round or two, right? Like, with how Edmonton and Vegas have looked, would it be a huge upset if Anaheim beats whoever, Nashville or LA or something, or whoever they end up playing, Utah, and then beat? They would be surprised, but not crazy. But it just feels like that division is so much worse than everybody else that, someone's going to get to the Final Four, and that team is going to be miles and away worse than the other 3 teams there. So even if they get 2 rounds deep, you still will feel like, well, they're not really a threat, even though they're 1 series away from the final. But they give up a lot.
Yeah.
They give up so many chances, so many goals that it's going to be hard for them to threaten one of the best teams.
All right, Johnny, we'll leave it there. Enjoy the weekend. We'll do it early next week.
All right, fellas. Have a good weekend.
There he is, Mike Johnson, joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. Red Tag Days are here with the all-electric Toyota BZ. Goes from 0 to 100 in just 5.1 seconds and charges from 10 to 80%, just 30 minutes, dropped by Maple Toyota today. Update on Tiger Woods. He has been arrested for DUI following a rollover crash in Jupiter, Florida. So he failed the field sobriety test per law enforcement down there. He blew a 0 on the breathalyzer, so it wasn't alcohol. But I guess he refused to take a urine test after the cops suspected he was impaired. So I guess you could put 2 and 2 together on that. But, yeah, Tiger, there's not much more to say. Those are the facts. And everyone's okay. There's a 2-car crash, but I believe there's no injuries were reported. So.
There's his life-saving thing that nobody is seriously hurt if he's arrested for DUI, and we don't know the exact details. But you talked about the crash that he had in California. Lucky to walk away from that.
Incredibly lucky he survived. But again, he was driving. Like, what are you doing driving? How someone in his life hasn't pulled him aside and said, "You're never driving again the rest of your life."
That's it. There's a guy
billionaire
in the driveway with a Range Rover that drives you wherever you want to go,
and he will be there anytime. You're going to pay him $250,000 cash a year because you have it.
Yes.
And he'll be everywhere, and he's just going to drive you everywhere.
Work. You get 12 hours at night, 12 hours during the day, and there's always someone there.
Crazy.
And you know what? Like that crash happened, at 3:15, 3:30? Something like that.
Yeah, like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
2 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, you hope he can get his life figured out because, I don't know, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, man. Like, you shouldn't really be under the influence at that time, right? Like, I don't know. He's obviously going through something. He needs help.
He's had so many surgeries and everything.
That's just it, man.
Yeah,
how his body can function after all those surgeries. Well,
I don't think it can.
Yeah, exactly.
Might be proof of that. All right, Jays, they're back home and back in action tonight. Game 1 of 162 tonight. We'll head down to the Dome, catch up with Keegan. Best bet still to come. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
call them LA's finest for nothing.
Exactly. Don't get too excited.
The Rookie, all new Monday on CTV. Stream next day on Crave.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Mail It In Friday brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you get it all in 20 minutes or less. A fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza. Jays A's tonight. Keegan will join us here in a moment from the Dome ahead of the game tonight. The Houston Open continues. Your boy Gary Woodland's having himself a day. He's got like a 4-shot lead down there. And... yeah, we're getting closer to the Masters. Like a week and a half away from Masters Week. Which
this news coming out today, obviously, is going to just
that's
weird vibe, weird spin on it.
Like I can't imagine Tiger even show. Like he wasn't going to play anyway, but I don't think he comes for the Champions Dinner now. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he just disappears for a while
for a bit.
Yeah, Tiger Woods, who
he's got bigger questions to ask himself and like.
Got to get help, man.
Yeah,
he's got to get help. He's got to rearrange his life. He's got to get help.
Yeah, Tiger arrested DUI in Jupiter, Florida today. 2-car accident, no injuries, but yeah, he's sitting in a jail cell right now in Florida.
Yeah, this one might kind of ding the armor a little bit. Like he's always rebounded. I think he's like the most forgiven athlete of all time. What he's gone through. And he walks up to the first tee, men, women, children. There's Tiger Woods. We're going to cheer this guy like no one else. But this one, people might be like, what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, if it just keeps going on and on, people are going to be like, hey, man, like, what the hell are you up to?
Well, and he's 50 years old now, right? And you're in a community. There's a lot of people, kids around, 2 o'clock on a Friday.
No kidding. And you're banged up driving around in a car, flipping a car?
Yeah, it's not good.
That's what he's so lucky that nothing real stupid happened, man.
Yep, he's very lucky. Very, very lucky.
Sometimes, like, I don't know, you get to a point where he's got kids. Like, does he not want to say, like, I gotta get it together for my kids here? And, not to mention what could have happened with this, the result is like you said, it's the saving grace that nothing bad happened, but
right. And again, it was not based on alcohol. He took a breathalyzer. It was not alcohol. It was obviously something else. I mean, you can put 2 and 2 together in terms of what they're speculating was going on with Tiger, and he refused to take a urine test, and as a result, you get arrested for that. So there you go. That's the latest on Tiger. Again, we'll see what happens, and if there's more news before we're out of here at 6, we'll continue to update people on it. But the Masters right around the corner, and Scheffler will be there, McIlroy will be there, and the big conversation is going to be Tiger. Obviously.
And that's what I hate about it, because it's not going to be to Scotty Scheffler, what do you think of the setup? What's your game like? It's going to be, what do you make of Tiger Woods not being here because of what happened? That's a terrible theme going into the Masters.
Yeah, it's definitely disappointing, but again, incredibly lucky. Nobody's hurt. Ultimately, that's what
I bet
really
you Fred
matters.
Ridley will literally shut down those questions.
I don't know how that's going to be handled. I mean, I guess we'll see. It's a week and a half from now. There's a lot going on in the world. I mean, things change pretty rapidly.
We'll call Duthie or Bobby on Monday to see how the vibe will be down at Augusta.
Yeah, a week tomorrow, they'll be flying down to Augusta.
They always go a week early.
They always get down there just a little bit early, just to make sure the setup is right.
That's right.
Yeah. The course hasn't ever changed, but they just want to make sure.
What do they call it? A site survey?
Yes, a site survey.
You gotta stock the house. You got to go to the grocery store.
Make sure everyone's comfortable down there. Site survey down at the Ryder Center every year. There's something new going on down there, right? This year it's going to be the Hall of Excellence, and they've got new food items down there. They got everything, and I'm sure our next guest is well aware of it all. Here he is from MLB.com. Big part of TSN, big part of SportsCenter. He and Hedge back on the field. I love it. Here's Keegan Matheson. How we doing, Keegan?
We're back, fellas. Doing good. How's everything?
Do you have an opening day special where you just hammer like 4 hot dogs and just guzzle a beer before the first pitch, or what? Talk to me. Talk dirty to me.
I wish, fellas. It looks like a heavy barbecue rotation in the press box tonight. There's some brisket, some chicken, some mac and cheese. So I'll probably be asleep by the time they end this ceremony and get first pitch in. But I didn't get far enough ahead on my site survey, fellas. So I was actually just texting my girlfriend pictures of which whiskey bottles to look for at the store. So I have something on the shelf when I get home. So I'm scrambling here, fellas. But
I love it.
We're back to eating in ballparks every day for 6 months. It'll surely be good for me.
Well, they're doing their best of turning the page on 2025, right? Mark Shapiro was speaking and said, you're starting from scratch and you have to create your own team and a new identity, and that's easier said than done. I'm curious if you're anticipating a bit of a World Series hangover. We didn't see it from the Dodgers last night. Would you expect to see it possibly from the Blue Jays early in the season?
I think they're saying all the right things. And that starts with John Schneider. He said that early in camp where he had that quote that I thought was fantastic, where he said, we're not defending anything, not defending the AL East, the American League, we're chasing it. And that's the right mindset. But like you say, Hayes, it's easier to say that than actually do it. And hangovers are real coming off of championships because you have played longer. And there's an adrenaline high, guys, that's when you step in, opening day is one thing. But next Tuesday against the Colorado Rockies, are you going to be as amped up as you were on October 28th in Game 5? Probably not. So you have to almost fake it at times. How do you get yourself up to that level? How do you care as much as you were caring when you were playing baseball, unlike anything you've ever played before? So that's going to be a real challenge. They're saying the right things. I think they're doing the right things so far. But we have no clue how that's going to go until they're out there in the field. And they have a soft schedule to start, okay? They should be coming back here in a couple of weeks to play the Dodgers at like 8-2, okay? This is when they can make their hay early. And I know there's 162 games, whatever. This is the American League East. You got to win right now, and they have a soft start. They've got to avoid that hangover.
What's your feeling on the guys that really popped onto the scene last year, whether it's Lucas or Barger or Clement? Like, do they just pick up right where they left off, or does it feel like maybe there's, a little skepticism around, can you do it now right from the start of the season?
Yeah, because they won't be surprising anyone, right, Frankie? If you're Addison Barger, if I'm a pitcher facing the Blue Jays, guys, number one, I want to make sure that Vladdy doesn't make me look like an idiot. And number two, I'm probably looking to Addison Barger, like really quickly on that list, because you see what he's capable of with one swing, completely changing a game. And what's scary about Addison Barger is that you can spot your pitch perfectly. I mean, right on the corner, low and outside, and he can hit at 440 feet. So he is a guy who pitchers will be game planning for actively. And that wasn't always the case last year. So that's a challenge. And the solution, guys, is always quantity. You need someone else to step up. You need to have someone else already in line in case something else goes wrong, because these guys will be game planned against. And Barger's the one I'm most interested in. I think Nathan Lucas is steady, just a rock-solid, steady big leaguer who's always going to have a job with this team. But Barger can either completely pop, hit 35 home runs, finish top 10 MVP, or he can run into some real challenges because other pitchers are going to obsess over him now.
Well, that was what piqued my interest when I saw the lineup come out today, Keegan, was that they're putting Barger in the cleanup spot, and that would really get your attention for a young guy who didn't break camp with the team last year, was predominantly, a guy that would just kind of face righties, and we've had that conversation through the spring. Is he a guy that's now going to play 150-plus games, and he's just penciled into your lineup every single night if you're John Schneider? It's a huge opportunity. Like, you are challenged with the role of protecting Vladimir Guerrero Jr., but this really is a make or break opportunity for his whole career. Like, what an opportunity. They're not easing you in. Like, Okamoto's hitting 7th, right? Just welcome to North America. Find your way in. Let's see what happens here. They're putting Addison in cleanup role, man. That is a big, big opportunity for him.
Show everyone who you are. Yeah. And that's what John Schneider is doing right now. He's throwing Addison Barger into a big spot and saying, prove it. And he's doing it because he believes in him. That's the same reason Nathan Lucas is batting number 2. I know he's not the buzziest name on this team. They just trust the guy. This is based on trust early in the season. You're not chasing upside and stuff. John Schneider's putting a lot of trust in Addison Barger. And what I love about Barger's game right now, guys, is that I think it's making sense to him. Everything about him is maxed out. He's the strongest, the fastest, throws the hardest. Everything is the hardest, the fastest, the most powerful. But I think he's finally starting to wrap his mind around those capabilities. And he's understanding that you do not need to be trying harder than everyone at all times. Okay, that doesn't always work in baseball. He is starting to wrangle in those skills. And we saw that in the World Series. You saw a player in the World Series who realized who he is. Finally, it clicked. If he can do that, the sky's the limit for this guy. There are not many players in this league with the physical tools of Addison Barger. It's just got to marry those two sides. We've seen it a million times, guys. Players who can throw 101 miles an hour, hit a ball 500 feet, but every other at-bat is a mess, right? We're finally seeing Barger hit the sweet spot, and that's a very dangerous thing for everyone else.
Keegan, if your assessment in spring training of Vladdy, like his at-bat approaches, just his whole vibe, like if you could use one word to describe that and then get into some detail about your overall feelings of Vladdy in spring training.
Confidence, guys. I've never seen him more confident. And I've been around Vladdy when he was a top prospect, making everyone look foolish in double-A ball. I've been around him when he was playing MVP caliber baseball in 2021. Other than Ohtani, he was an MVP caliber player. I've never seen him this confident. And that is very scary for the rest of baseball, because Vladdy in past years, you see that joy and that spark kind of go away. And I think the eye test matters with Vladdy more than any player in Major League Baseball. If you see him goofing around and dancing and playing with his teammates and having a good time, he is going to light you up. He is such an easy player to tell just by looking at him where he's at mentally. And when Vladdy is playing free and loose, he's incredibly dangerous. This is the most confident version of him I've seen. And that makes sense because you're coming off a playoff run where you homered 8 times in 18 games with a 1289 OPS. You're coming off a WBC with the Dominican where you're surrounded by stars and you're still the guy. That has to do incredible things to your confidence. I'd imagine $500 million doesn't hurt either. This is the most locked in, the most confident I've seen him.
If we're talking in July, we're doing a summer show in July. Who would be the unsung hero from now until then? Is there someone that maybe is a little bit under the radar that you think has an opportunity to have a good start to the season?
Yeah, guys, I think when we look through the bullpen, I think there will be some good stories. I think that Mason Fluharty is going to be more important than folks realize. I think Tyler Rogers will not excite anyone, and he won't throw 100, but he's going to pitch 80 games, and he's going to be really damn good doing it. I think the bullpen has some sneaky options. I keep looking to Dalton Varsho, guys. I know that's not the most under the radar, but people talk about Vladdy. I think Barger is the hot name for a breakout candidate, but Dalton Varsho looked great in spring training. 5 home runs, pound for pound. He's one of the most powerful players on this roster. Incredible natural power, and he is playing in a contract year. That's a great motivator, fellas. He has tens of millions that he can make or take away from this season. He can enter next year as one of the best free agents in baseball. It's a weak class. So if he has a good year, hits 30 home runs, plays elite defense like we know he's going to no matter what, he is going to make himself a ton of cash. And to me, from the outside, that sounds like a great motivation, fellas. I think it's all lining up for him.
Big time. Keegan Matheson with us, Jays A's tonight. Kevin Gausman gets the start for the Jays. He is a free agent after this year.
Man, you love poking the bear on what this guy's up to.
I'm curious, like what his future is going to look like. I mean, I know I've got a pretty good idea of how to project his season, Keegan. Like very reliable, arm's going to hold up, putting up pretty good numbers.
Do you think it's a situation, Hayes, where if like they're not looking to see if he has a good start to the season to make a decision on this? Do you think their mind is already made up or no? I guess I'll let you finish your question.
No, I don't think so. You're like Gausman. Listen, he's not a young guy. I mean, if it falls off, then they'll move off him. That's why they brought Ceason. They have you Savage. They have Ponce. But I'm curious where you stand on it, Keegan. Like, how would you handicap the future of Gausman?
I think Gausman, more than anyone, is someone who really genuinely wants to be here. And I've heard that from guys over the years. We did this whole dance with Bo Bichette, too. Money is always going to win. But I think those considerations, we see this with Max Scherzer, matter a little bit more when you're getting into late 30s. You have a full family and kids who love being here. I think I caught Gausman almost getting a bit emotional yesterday on the podium when he said how much he loved Canada, that it's the best decision him and his wife have ever made is coming to Toronto for this phase of his career. Again, money matters. We can't only look at the emotional side of this. But if he starts out hot, I mean, I think it would make a ton of sense for he and the Blue Jays to explore something short term. I don't know what the numbers on that would look like, probably over a 2-year type of agreement if he wants to keep pitching. That said, Kevin Gausman is also a fully formed and functional human being outside of the sport he plays, which is not something I say about everyone I cover. You know, he's someone who has 2 young daughters who he's aware he wants to be there with as they're growing up, you know, before they get too cool to be around dad and all that stuff. So there's family considerations. But I really believe, guys, and I've played this game every single year where someone says they want to stay here. I believe it's very genuine with him, and I think it would make a ton of sense to explore extending this a bit longer. He's already been one of their best signings of all time, model Blue Jay, and I think there's more potential there.
All right, Keegan. Enjoy it tonight, buddy. It's the start of a long, beautiful ride. So have yourself a great time, and we'll do it again next week.
You got it, fellas. We'll talk then.
There he is, Keegan Matheson, MLB.com, and a huge contributor here at TSN. I saw Hedge on our way down to the park earlier today, so Hedge will be down there rocking
I love
out.
those two together.
They're phenomenal.
But
phenomenal.
It doesn't seem the same without a certain somebody.
Well,
Hazy Rosenthal.
Hazy
dress
Rosenthal.
shoes, too.
I'll make my way down there.
I can't wait until some camera guy bumps into you and somebody catches you just giving a Kenny
giving
stare.
a death stare, like Ken Rosenthal style.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do a segment on the Kenny stare. Who deserves a Kenny stare?
There's a lot of potential there. A lot of potential material. The Leafs signed a kid named Hayes today.
Yeah.
Hazy H, right?
Hazy H.
Yeah.
Defenseman, big defenseman. So
Probably got bad boots and
yeah, possibly.
Throws wobbly sauces up the ice.
But great hot takes. He's got great takes.
Yeah,
Great
great
in the room.
voice.
Great in the room.
Great in the room. That's just where they leave him all the time.
Big personality. Mailed in Friday brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you get it all in 20 minutes or less. A fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza. The reason we haven't really brought that up is we had Alistair Johnston in earlier today, which was amazing. Leafs obviously in action tomorrow. Jays in action tonight. Biggest story in the sports world, though, of course, is Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
And he was arrested under suspicion of DUI. So, again, he's in jail right now. And he's going to be in jail for the, I guess, next few hours anyway. We'll see what happens with Tiger. But suspicion of DUI for Tiger Woods after he was involved in a 2-car crash. So we'll come back and give you as many details as we can.
We got a clip on it.
Tiger.
We'll play it for you.
On what the sheriff said down there and all that kind of stuff. And we'll get to our best bets as well. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
Back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You got to pay some juice, but I'm on the Jays tonight. Starting the season on fire. That place is going to be packed. It's going to be an awesome vibe down there.
You don't think the Sacramento A's are going to put up a fight?
No, I don't. I think you see the Dodgers last night. Kyle Tucker hits one into the gap, knocks in Ohtani. They won like 8-2. Dodgers are just gross how good they are.
Thing, man.
Yeah, just so good. And it's the Jays' turn tonight. So, yeah, you got to pay some juice, but I'm on it tonight. Blue Jays at home. Best Bets powered by FanDuel from first pitch to the final out. Same-game parlays around the Major League Baseball are available on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly, 19+, physically located in Ontario. All right, so Tiger Woods was arrested on suspicion of DUI this afternoon following a two-car accident down in Jupiter, Florida. Martin County. So the sheriff of Martin County, I guess, had a statement earlier this hour. Why don't we play it, try to get you as updated as we can on what's going on with Tiger and where this story currently stands.
So just before 2 p.m. today, the Jupiter Island Police Department, which is where we currently are, received a call of a rollover crash about 2.5 miles from where we are. The Jupiter Island Police Department responded out there and found a pickup truck pulling a pressure cleaner trailer and a Land Rover, which was rolled over on the driver's door. And we're going to provide you photos of that. The investigation started, and initially, right off the top, it did appear that the driver of the Land Rover might be impaired. And at that point, the Chief Ewing of Jupiter Island Police Department called me from the Martin County Sheriff's Office and asked for our assistance. It wasn't that the Jupiter Island Police Department isn't fully capable of doing these types of investigations, but quite frankly, the Sheriff's Office has a lot more repetitions in these traffic crashes and these types of investigations. Our investigation revealed as follows. Shortly again before 2, the pressure cleaner truck pulling a trailer, a small trailer, was northbound on South Beach Road and was pulling kind of to turn into a driveway. It was slowing down, starting to turn into a driveway, and the driver of that vehicle looked in his mirror and saw a Land Rover, a dark-colored Land Rover, overtaking him at high speeds, and I don't know those speeds. The Land Rover kept overtaking him. He saw it coming, so he tried to edge off to the side of the road, but this is a small 2-lane road, and there was no shoulder for this pressure cleaner gentleman to get off the side of the road. As he was trying to move to the side of the road, the Land Rover overtook him at the last minute, swerved to avoid a collision, but clipped the back end of the trailer of the pressure cleaner apparatus, listed to the side, and then rolled on the driver's door north past the truck that had just avoided the crash with. The individual driving that Land Rover was able to crawl out the passenger door of the car and was identified to be Mr. Tiger Woods. Our DUI investigators came to the scene here, and Mr. Woods did exemplify signs of impairment. They did several tests on him. Of course, he did explain the injuries and the surgeries that he had. We did take that into account. But they did do some in-depth roadside tests, and when it was determined, he was placed under arrest and taken to the Martin County Jail. At the Martin County Jail, and even on scene, we really weren't suspicious of alcohol being involved in this case, and that proved to be true at the jail. So Mr. Woods did a breathalyzer test, blew 000s, but when it came time for us to ask for a urinalysis test, he refused, and so he's been charged with DUI, with property damage, and refusal to submit to a lawful test. In the crash, no one was injured. Mr. Woods did not seem to be injured at all, and the other gentlemen were not injured. But this happened a few hours ago, so I've given you the information that I have right here, right now.
All right, so there's the latest on Tiger Woods. And scary scene, very lucky, no injuries. It obviously could have been a lot worse. And we came in here today wondering, like, is he going to play at the Masters and what's going to happen in the future? And obviously that is completely pushed to the side now. And needless to say, he will not be playing at Augusta.
Yeah,
Like,
and the
that's
whole
not
vibe will be
happening.
different there. Like the whole week leading up to it will be a lot different.
Yeah. National team, Canada's got a couple of friendlies coming up before the real stuff starting in a couple of months. It's incredible, the World Cup right around the corner. And Jay's back home tonight, back in action. It feels like yesterday I was walking out of that park, Game 7. Like, that was in November.
Short
not that
offseason,
long
man.
ago, and
Yeah.
they're already back home and playing tonight. You got to get back on the horse quick. And, yeah, you get the Leafs out in St. Louis tomorrow. Then they hit the road going through California. So, final 10 games left in the NBA, NHL.
When the Jays were last playing, we were trying to figure out what's going on with the Leafs. They're going to snap out of it, and now you got Nylander saying
They didn't snap out of it.
No.
they didn't
We got
snap
the
out of
answer.
it, and Willie's saying stuff that we all want answers to.
Yep. Everyone wants to know what's coming with the Leafs here. But the Jays are in town taking over. The Raptors are going to the playoffs. They're back in action tonight as well. So it's going to be a great weekend of sports. All right, boys. Good seeing you guys as always. Thank you to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today. TV, radio, podcast, web, and, of course, up on YouTube Live. Every show streaming live on TSN's YouTube channel. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy your weekends. We're back Monday at...
Thanks for throwing my ties in the garbage.
You got it, man.
4 p.m.
We'll chat then.